Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to Monday, March 24th teasers for The Young and the Restless, Phyllis Summers will go into hiding while Martin Laurent, also known as Alan Laurent, raises some concerns. Here's what YNR fans should anticipate as Chance Chancellor appears to be on the verge of making a revelation. To begin with, Phyllis will be overcome by her feelings after the entire kidnapping ordeal. Phyllis is obviously in a mess as a result of everything that happened to her, but she doesn't want her kids to see her in a bad mood. Phyllis will make an effort to keep Summer Newman and Daniel Romalotti Jr. informed about their mother's deteriorating health because they have already concerned about her for the rest of their lives. As she copes with her tragedy, Phyllis will still try to avoid Daniel and Summer, who will still worry. Thankfully, Billy Abbott will soon save Phyllis, so she won't have to endure her ordeal alone. Phyllis will take advantage of Billy's willingness to help and accept some support when she most needs it. Look for these former flames to spend some quality time together since Billy's encouragement will mean the world to Phyllis. There will be a growing number of Martin red flags in the interim. Martin is clearly still alive and pretending to be Alan, but he is unable to hide his identity sufficiently to evade the impending shockers. Tracy Abbott will never stop thinking about those strange phone notifications and how agitated Alan was by them. Tracy should continue to think about the chaos in the clinic caused by the captivity, as reported by Kyle Abbott. The more Tracy considers it, the more she could worry that those odd clinic-related alerts are connected to what transpired at the shuttered clinic. Tracy will also feel uneasy about Alan taking off abruptly to Paris on the final commercial flight out. His unpredictable behavior will undoubtedly raise concerns, even though Alan has insisted that he wants Tracy to surprise him by meeting up with him in a few days. Chance stated looking into the security tape from the hardware shop, so it stands to reason that this could be the biggest hint of all. Chance would eventually come to the startling realization that Alan was purchasing supplies for the room where Sharon and Phyllis were detained at that store. It might not be long until Martin's survival and his twin imitation scheme begin to make sense as the investigation begins to point to Alan. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Chance will make some disturbing predictions and come to some conclusions along the way. Follow along for updates on all the turns and turns. CDL is the best place to find Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates, so make us your go-to source for YNR. Finally available are spoilers for Monday, March 24th, 2025's episode of The Young and the Restless. Fans might anticipate Phyllis Summers starting to have a breakdown in tomorrow's episode. Information about Aristotle Dumas is found by Martin Baldwin. Chance also discovers a clue. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. Numerous preemptions for the remainder of the week, there won't be any new episodes. For March Madness, the network has already gotten ahead of YNR. Even though we had a very short week as a result, at least the teaser clip is jam-packed with twists and activities. Phyllis Summers disintegration fans will witness Phyllis start to suffer a breakdown on Monday, March 24th. Compared to Sharon Newman, Phyllis has appeared to be much more rattled. Red seems to be losing it, even though they were both saved. She keeps shaking and finds it difficult to speak. Then Phyllis is outside in a weekly preview clip. She sobs and babbles, shaking, about how her children can't see her like this. Read more, discover the events of Y&R's most recent episode. Billy Abbott is standing a foot or so away from his business partner, looking anxious. "What can I do to help?" asks Billy. At that point, Phyllis has a brilliant idea. Phyllis seems to be planning to ensnare him in a crazy plot. Will it be to find the individual who took the two women hostage? Now that fans know it's Alan/Martin, the danger is still very serious. The clue of the Chance Chancellor expect the investigator to follow a lead when he's with Chance on The Young and the Restless. Fans may remember that Chance said the kidnapper purchased a particular part that was only sold in a few locations. A hardware store near the kidnapping scene is one of such locations. Chance will thus check to determine if that store is monitored. Read more, The Restless and The Young preview week of March 24th, Phyllis and Billy's scheme, Dumas' past, and Tracy's disclosure. Martin Laurent, Alan Laurent was undoubtedly too smart to charge it to his credit card. However, there can be additional hints. Tracy Abbott, who is eager to wed Alan, is over. But she's feeling strange after the most recent phone call about a surprise in Paris. Then, in a sneak peek for next week, Tracy is shown frantically telling Diane Jenkins Abbott and Jack Abbott that she worries Alan isn't himself. In any case, will Tracy visit Paris? Alan's surprise could be just another experiment, I worry. I hope the author follows her instincts before it's too late. What is the plot that you are most excited to see? Post your ideas in the space provided for comments below. Don't forget to keep watching the CBS or Paramount Plus soap opera to see what happens next. Fans are wondering if Phyllis Summers is departing Genoa City after Michelle Stafford tweeted a mysterious note that read, "That's a wrap," according to spoilers for The Young and the Restless. No one could blame her for enjoying a well-earned vacation after what Phyllis and Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, had undergone. Alan Laurent has maintained Phyllis Summer and Sharon Newman are imprisoned. Sharon and Phyllis don't know who held them. However, the women were busted out of the room when Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, knocked on the door. Naturally, Chance Chancellor, Connor Floyd, and Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, provided assistance. Finally, the ordeal is over. The audience was informed that Alan was responsible. Fans, however, are questioning whether Alan is actually Martin Laurent. Instead, is Martin still alive and responsible for the kidnapping? Has Martin taken over Alan's life once more? It's possible that Alan passed away in Paris after they fell out of the window. Phyllis Summers, is she going? In reference to that specific plot point, Michelle said, Phyllis isn't going anywhere. Although it is clear that this sequence of events has devastated Phyllis, she will not allow this insane individual to drive her out of town. Phyllis is committed to discovering the culprit and the reason behind their treatment of her and Sharon. How could they have earned this? Supporters agree that it was good to see Sharon and Phyllis cooperating rather than arguing for once. Nor was there any argument over Nick this time. Instead of attempting to murder one another this time, Sharon and Phyllis genuinely cared enough to save one another's lives. For what length of time will Sharon and Phyllis maintain their truce? Fans undoubtedly had differing views on this. Some fans mentioned this plot point about him. I feel terrible for Tracy because she never has a happy ending, but I'm glad she will finally have a good plot as well. Great scenes, but glad it's ended and everything is okay. Seeing behind the scenes is so much fun. Looking forward to Monday. Furthermore, Alan is not Alan. Never was it? Although I must admit that I wasn't really impressed with the plot, it was television gold when the antagonist was the doctor. Even though I've been watching YNR for more than 30 years, I genuinely gasped. For Tracy, it's just getting started, but it might be done for you. Tracy, please, can't they get her a man? However, it's good to see what you do in the background. You are my favorite, and I adore that more than anything. I adore you so much. Whoa! I adore how you and Sharon ended up in this narrative. Crazy! I never imagined that anything could unite you two. Face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy, face with tears of joy. The story is far from over. It might be a fresh start. Of something new, something unique, something strong. Were you concerned that Phyllis would leave the town? Would you like to see the women keep up their newfound camaraderie? From here, where should the story go? For all things YNR, come here. For updates, spoilers, and news about The Young and the Restless, return frequently. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Monday, March 24, 2025, promise an explosive episode filled with emotional breakdowns, shocking revelations, and dangerous twists. As the fallout from the recent kidnapping ordeal continues to ripple through Genoa City, Phyllis Summers finds herself on the brink of a breakdown, while Martin Laurent, posing as Alan Laurent, raises more red flags than ever. Meanwhile, Chance Chancellor is hot on the trail of a crucial clue that could unravel the entire mystery. Here's a detailed look at what fans can expect in this action-packed episode. Phyllis Summers' emotional turmoil. Phyllis Summers has always been a fighter, but even the strongest among us have their breaking points. After her harrowing kidnapping experience, Phyllis is struggling to hold herself together. The trauma of being held captive, coupled with the lingering fear of her unknown captor, has left her emotionally shattered. In Monday's episode, viewers will see Phyllis begin to unravel as the weight of her ordeal becomes too much to bear. Phyllis has always been fiercely protective of her children, Summer Newman and Daniel Romalotti Jr., and she's determined not to let them see her in this vulnerable state. She knows they've already worried enough about her over the years, and she doesn't want to add to their burdens. However, her attempts to hide her struggles only make things worse. Summer and Daniel are perceptive, and they can sense that something is off with their mother. Despite her efforts to avoid them, their concern for her continues to grow. Fortunately, Phyllis won't have to face her demons alone. Billy Abbott, her former flame and longtime friend, steps in to offer his support. Billy has always had a soft spot for Phyllis, and he's not about to let her suffer in silence. In a heartfelt moment, Billy reaches out to Phyllis, asking what he can do to help. His kindness and understanding mean the world to her, and she reluctantly accepts his assistance. As they spend time together, fans can expect some touching bonding moments between the two. Billy's unwavering support could be exactly what Phyllis needs to start healing, but will it also rekindle old feelings between them? Martin Lawrence red flags. While Phyllis grapples with her trauma, Tracy Abbott is dealing with her own set of worries. Her fiancé, Alan Moran, has been acting increasingly erratic, and his recent behavior has raised some serious red flags. Tracy can't shake the feeling that something is off with Alan, especially after the strange phone alerts he received about a security breach at a clinic. The fact that Kyle Abbott mentioned Sharon and Phyllis being held captive at an abandoned clinic only adds to her unease. Could there be a connection between Alan's alerts and the kidnapping? Tracy's concerns deepen when Alan suddenly announces that he's flying to Paris alone on the last commercial flight out. He insists that it's all part of a surprise he's planning for her, but his abrupt departure leaves Tracy feeling unsettled. She tries to push her worries aside, focusing on the excitement of their upcoming wedding, but the nagging feeling that something isn't right won't go away. As she confides in Jack and Diane, Tracy begins to wonder if Alan is truly the man she thought he was. The biggest clue yet could come from Chance Chancellor's investigation. Chance has been diligently working to uncover the truth behind the kidnapping, and his efforts are about to pay off. After learning that the kidnapper purchased specific equipment from a local hardware store, Chance decides to check the store's security footage. What he discovers is nothing short of shocking. Alan Moran was at the store, buying the very items used to construct the room where Sharon and Phyllis were held captive. This revelation is a game-changer, and it raises even more questions about Alan's true identity. Fans have long suspected that Alan might actually be Martin Moran, his presumed dead twin brother. If Chance's discovery confirms this theory, it could mean that Martin has been impersonating Alan all along. The implications of this twist are enormous, and it could lead to a dramatic confrontation between Martin and the Abbott family. Chance Chancellor's investigation heats up. Chance Chancellor has always been a dedicated detective, but this case is personal. The kidnapping of Sharon and Phyllis has shaken the entire community, and Chance is determined to bring the perpetrator to justice. His discovery at the hardware store is a major breakthrough, and it sets him on a path to uncovering the truth about Alan, or Martin. As Chance pieces together the evidence, he begins to draw some unnerving conclusions. If Alan is indeed Martin, then the man Tracy is planning to marry is not who he claims to be. This realization puts Chance in a difficult position. He knows he needs to act quickly to protect Tracy and the rest of the Abbott family, but he also has to be careful not to tip off Martin. The stakes are higher than ever, and Chance's next moves could determine the fate of everyone involved. Phyllis and Billy's wild scheme. Meanwhile, Phyllis and Billy are hatching a plan of their own. Still reeling from her kidnapping, Phyllis is determined to find out who was behind it and why they targeted her and Sharon. She's not about to let this mystery go unsolved, and she enlists Billy's help to get to the bottom of it. The preview clip for next week shows Phyllis outside, shaking and rambling about how her kids can't see her like this. Billy stands nearby, looking nervous but determined to help. Phyllis's idea is bold and potentially dangerous, but it's exactly the kind of scheme she's known for. Will their plan lead them to the truth, or will it put them in even greater danger? With Martin, or Alan, still at large, the risks are high, but Phyllis has never been one to back down from a challenge. Tracy's growing doubts. As the evidence against Alan mounts, Tracy's doubts continue to grow. She's torn between her love for Alan and the nagging feeling that something isn't right. In a preview clip for next week, Tracy urgently tells Jack and Diane that she fears Alan literally is not himself. This admission is a major turning point, and it could lead to a dramatic confrontation between Tracy and Alan. Will Tracy go to Paris to meet Alan, or will she listen to her gut and stay in Genoa City? If she does go, what kind of surprise is waiting for her? Fans can't help but worry that Alan's surprise might be another one of his twisted experiments. Tracy's safety and her future hang in the balance. The bigger picture. As the various storylines converge, the bigger picture begins to come into focus. Martin Lawrence's survival and his impersonation of Alan have set the stage for one of the most dramatic twists in recent YNR history. The Abbott family is at the center of this storm, and their lives are about to be turned upside down.